strabismus surgery in large angle esotropia, a savior in disguise. Nil financial disclosure.
Dr. Sayali, you're not very audible. Please, can you just look over your audio?
Now, ma'am, am I audible properly?
Yeah, now it's better.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Non-financial disclosure, consent was taken by parents. So in large angle esotropia, our primary goal is to achieve early orthotropia for binocular single vision. So in these cases, either a bilateral recession were done, but there were shown to be much cases of residual esotropia, or a bimedial recession with extra unilateral lateral rectus resection were done. But in these cases, an extra muscle had to be sacrificed. So we thought, why not augment the uniformly done bimedial recession with botulinum toxin? Botulinum toxin, it inhibits muscle spindles at neuromuscular junction, doesn't cross blood-brain barrier. Peak occurs in 3 to 5 days and lasts for around 3 months. The permanent effects are seen due to change in length tension curve and sarcomere density. It was approved by US FDA for paretic strabismus and blepharospasm and hemifacial spasms. In squints, it is traditionally used in small angle esotropia for around 30 to 40 prism diopters. In large angle, also to buy tangled surgery and decrease in incidence of amblyopia. Also, it is used in acquired non-accommodative esotropias. So in our study, we included children with large angle esotropia of more than 50 prism diopters and prospectively followed them. We excluded children who had hypersensitivity to botulinum toxin, who had known neuromuscular disorders, third, fourth, sixth nerve palsies, nystagmus, dissociated vertical deviations, incompetence of more than 5 degrees in horizontal gaze, accommodative esotropias, previous strabismus surgeries, and presence of ophthalmic pathologies that could prevent binocular functions. Preoperatively, the amblyopia was treated. Vision were assessed with Lea paddles. Cycloplegic refraction was done. Deviation was measured with Kumsky test and prism bar cover test. Ocular movements were assessed to rule out any paresis or restriction. The surgery was performed by a single surgeon. Bilateral medial rectus recession of 6 mm was done from insertion, along with 1.5 mm of conjunctival recession. After recession, 2.5 units of botulinum toxin was injected in medial rectus of the non-dominant type. Mean surgical time was noted to be 16 minutes. Post-operatively, follow-up was done after 1 week, 12 weeks, 6 months, 1 year, and 2 years. At each post-operative visit, vision was assessed, sensory fusion was assessed with Burford dot test, and stereopsis was assessed with litmus light test. Our primary outcome was considered to be successful if deviation was less than 8 prism diopters or the patient was also orthotropic. We also assessed achievement of stereopsis by litmus and side effects and number of resurgeries needed for successful outcome. So in our study, there were 14 patients, 1 to 3.5 years of age. Mean age at surgery was 15 months. Mean refractive error was plus 1.5 diopter sphere. Mean preoperative esotropia was 16 prism diopters, and at post-operatively 1 week, 20 prism diopter of exotropia was noted, which reduced to 12 prism diopters by 1 month and 2 prism diopters by 3 months. So at 3 months post-operatively, 13 of our children had successful outcome, but 1 child developed consecutive exotropia of 25 prism diopters. Transient ptosis was noted in 2 mm was noted in 1 patient, which resolved by 10 days. No vertical deviations were noted, no re-injections were required. So this is a picture of one of our child showing large angle esotropia. By 3 months, he was orthotropic. 5 of our children showed transient exotropia at 1 month, but by 3 months, they were also orthotropic. While 1 child showed consecutive esotropia at 3 months post-operative follow-up due to lack of compliance with amblyopia treatment. So as seen in literature, Scott et al. Showed bimedial recession of 6 mm resulted in 63% undercorrection. But in our study, none showed undercorrection. While Steger and Weekly showed 33% consecutive exotropia with large bimedial recession of 8 mm. Camiglia et al. Showed 17% consecutive exotropia with a 3-muscle surgery. In our study, 7.14% showed consecutive exotropia. So, with botulinum toxin augmentation, early alignment can be achieved, especially in those children who have good vision in both eyes. A third muscle is saved for the future. There's decrease in anesthesia time. Lesser amount of consecutive exotropia is noted due to temporary effect of botulinum toxin. It is a simpler, quicker, and less traumatic procedure. These are my references. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sayali. It was an excellent presentation, but I still feel that though the literature has said that it is very good for the large angle as well as for the small angle esotropias, but generally, don't you think that it's a very unstable sort of a thing? Because many patients, though your study does not show so much of consecutive exotropia, but would it be better that first you do the botulinum toxin injection, see the result for up to 3 to 6 months, and then go in for recession instead of doing both the things together?
Ma'am, then anesthesia would have to be given twice or thrice. In this, in a single procedure, both are done.
That's what I'm saying. The literature says, I mean, many people have said that even when you're doing it together, though your study has not proved it, you have, I think, around 13, 14 patients you've done, right?
Yes, yes.
So majority of the patients who have been given botulinum toxin along with the recession at one sitting, they have shown that they have consecutive exotropia. The chances of overcorrections are quite a lot because it's a very unstable result.
Okay.
By the time the stability of the botulinum toxin result comes out, many of the patients, they are shown to have exotropias. So maybe you could have done a much more number of patients to actually establish that this is good.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Sayali, a better thing would have been if you would have done a randomized study of 2-stage procedure versus 1-stage procedure. So that would have given the basically better outcome. And secondly, this is basically a temporary. This botulinum toxin is the effect is temporary.
Yes. So
it is not a permanent solution. Sooner or later, you have to go for the surgery for the third muscle.
Yes.
Another question.
What was the longest follow-up? What was the longest follow-up?
2 years. 2 years. Huh? 2 years.
One question I wanted to ask, you said your age range was between 1 to 3.5 years.
Yes.
Was there any correlation between the success and the age at which you operated?
No, ma'am. There was no, as such, we just took 1.35 to 3.5 years. In that, we didn't divide like 1 to 2 or 2 to 3.5. We just took that as a whole cluster.
What was your comparison related to binocularity between these patients and the ones who only undergo surgery? Any comparison related to that?
Actually, ma'am, how much ever stereopsis and tetanus with both four daughters we could compare, there were suboptimal stereopsis which was noted, which is comparable to the surgical procedures that we had seen before.
Botulinum is known to be giving less of binocularity compared to the surgical procedure.
Yes, ma'am. So that is why combined we thought. So that till the temporary effect of botulinum toxin wears off, the child would already develop a binocular fusion. So it will be better.
Okay.